Sorry about that. I prematurely started my video before I exhaled. Let us begin with why am I here originally to start with, the function of why I am here now compared to the functions of other videos I do. Sometimes when I think of taking out just one item of what I have learned in the past 5 minutes and just doing a video about that, it doesn't have to be an hour long, but the extension in life and whatever I talk about seems to extend within the branches of the equation I foretell to whom watch these videos, of course. What I did want to say is one of the things, Ohio is very, very, very special. I don't know what it is. I really don't know. It's almost like if you were to set up a swing and you had to have a post that holds up the swing, the post would connect to Kansas City and Ohio. And you see, Ohio, right? I just think I figured it out now. I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. Ohio is the extension of one of the arms on your clock at 3 o'clock, starting as either Kansas City or the Mississippi is actually the center of this clock. And what I mean by that is, first would be your right here on this side, okay, is where Ohio is. And the other side, this side, is Kansas City. So what happens is this sweeps. Oh, excuse me, it's supposed to be the other way. It sweeps all the way around, connecting to everything around it. It's like a central point. And one of the centers it touches out of all the centers is when it's at 4:30, it touches Miami, Florida. When it's at 7:30, it's hitting Los Angeles. When it's at 9 o'clock at night or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's hitting both near San Francisco, but it penetrates right through Kansas City and into Ohio. Now, if you go straight from Ohio, as you notice, the whole American state sort of seems to bend down where there's a point in Maine, but it tails off in Florida. Well, it's like a curve. It's a natural curve. So obviously the line has to curve down at the same time, because if any clock turns, right, if it was too close to the paper, it would bend. Just like the Sanskrit that the Mayans have, most people don't notice it, but there's a curvature in it. The circle is the curvature. But you see this? It has no ends here. Well, there's some of them that turn. And if you see there's an open space, it enters because the arms, they bend like on a spring. Very simple to figure out. So what were we talking about right now? I got an itch. Why am I here? What am I doing? I sometimes come out here because I have no one to talk to. Who am I going to tell what I'm doing? Really, no one wants to listen. No one, regardless, even when I begin to speak, no one takes an interest in it. And unless I come out here and pretend there's people watching me, my feeling to be in this world is null and void. But when I come out here and I know there's a chance, then it just raises my feeling from within. And there is never no chance, because there's always a chance, because the doors are open unless somebody shuts down the net. Well, I know who I am, and I still have my piece of paper and my pen, and I still write it down, because if I don't write it down, or if I don't do these videos, I'm going to bust, because the information I have is way too strong, because the connection with the numbers are so strong and so perfect that it's impossible for me to even say that this is a write-off. It's almost like saying Ron Paul's a write-off. Just to know that there's about 60 million people in the Americans right now, okay, that are just looking at Ron Paul and going, this is weird. So what I'm going to show you next is something I'm working on. Besides Ohio, we have to go back to Ohio. So this stick shoves up into Chicago, and I would call Chicago near 1:30. And 1:30 is 90 minutes, which means 9x. X is something we do not know, but X marks the spot. Therefore, if X marks the spot with the Coyote and Roadrunner, something would fall into Chicago. Or did something already fall in Chicago? Or is there a connection from Chicago? Besides, relevant or not, it's a big city. And of course, we're all going to mention the big cities because we're all used to those 5 or 6 names. At the same time, when I was telling you about the bend, and one of the reasons for the bend, it's like a teardrop. When a piece of water falls, the water sort of stretches out, makes like a teardrop. It also looks like an eye. The water within us is actually the all-seeing eye because it's the transporter of the energy. So these teardrops that fall down, if you take a teardrop from Ohio and you hold it on the right angle, you will create the original 6 hockey teams, come around and all the way back to Kansas City and near San Francisco, Sacramento area. That'll be a teardrop because the original 6 hockey teams create the Big Dipper. Now, if you do the reflection and flip it over, you have that Big Dipper coming back through the back through the Liberty Bell, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and all the way back through Ohio and into Chicago. And the other part of the bell, okay, would go down through Kansas City. Now, if you want to think of something different than the teardrop, you now have something holding, like cherries. 2 cherries hitting each other, one on one side, one on the other side. You know those 5 balls that hit toing, 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 and then the center doesn't move? Well, that's it. We don't move. We must be in the center. We must be the core. We must actually be the reason for the squirrel because it's always looking for nuts in the ground, and that might be us. Maybe we're underneath another world. Inside a heaven that's so high, you see the stars, but it's not actually the stars. It's just the part of the other world. It's a whole. Somehow the universe is a whole. You know, they say it's a hole in a space. It's like a passing from where no one actually lives out in space. It's a passing from within to one world, let's say Earth, inside Earth, just like the fish are in the ocean. You know, the colors of the ocean, no air gets in, and those colors and those plants. How often does winter arrive deep below the ocean? Well, the winter would be actually telling a different part of time. And why do we call winter in areas where there's never any snow? Because obviously, because of the star system that is above us, we read the stars. So we obviously read the stars. A thing that I was working on, Ohio, I said. So Ohio is in the chain of the rotation, and it's a 3 o'clock 1:30, and it's also 90 degrees. Because how man works is he works from north to south, and then he connects from east to west, breaking off one of the L's. Do you know why? Because the 2 sides are not connected, actually. You understand what I'm saying? In order to, how can I say that? Like I said yesterday, this pen may keep on turning, right? But if you don't put something over here in the transmission to make the tires turn, this will turn this way, this will turn this way. So it's got to be 90 degrees to make it work inside a transmission. Well, this is turning one way, this one is turning which way on this tire. That's how we sort of, and that's why you have the AT, angel transmission. Okay, so you have this working over here like this. I'm a little lost to what I was thinking. Oh, yes, that 90 degrees, because the angel can move all he wants in that world. What's the difference to him? He ain't going nowhere. But man is always leading in the snake. The lamed, you know the lamed they talk about in the Hebrew language? That's exactly what I'm discussing right now. It is the heart of everything, is the creation of the lamed that gives the over to 6 man and then curling back into the 8 heaven, like the 7. How can I explain that a little bit better? That's the angle is like this, or the angle is like this, and this is gamma, okay? And this, okay, in the Hebrew language, they have a gimel. And if you see, the head is bent over, and there's a stand on the bottom. But if you really visualize what that can be, and I've seen it 1,000 times, probably 2 or 3 times, it's a man walking. The reason you don't see the rest of him, because God is still building upon the letters. And that's only the 3rd letter. So he can't actually show all of man because he doesn't know which skin he's going to be in. Because until alpha beta, okay, take the mix into 3. 1 and 2 has to mix into 3. And when they mix into 3, they create the 4 corners of 4. But 3, okay, only creates 1 more to come to 4. So how do you figure out 3 and 4 in numbers? And also 3 out of 4, because one is always spirit, one is always God. You'll never be able to be somebody else. And that's one of the reasons for 3 out of 4, 2 out of 3. And also one of the reasons for 2 out of 3 and 3 out of 4 is that 90-degree angle. You don't need the extra angle on it. It's always following you through this rotation. So you're getting the rotation from up here, which is the Christ energy, turning this over here through this. This is turning also, but this is the guide wheel. This is front wheel drive. You're driving, my friend. The other thing I wanted to mention was these are the months. Look at what happens in certain months. When March falls under February, it falls between the F and the R. It does not complete or pass, not like April passes the H. This all has meaning. In the months, because months are so important, it's something you're going to always remember. And the definition of the months actually don't exactly change. They're concrete. It's almost like freedom. One part of freedom is right here. The days of the week, okay, and the names of the month, okay, they're all part of a fixed order. So these are parts of our liberties that are fixed. This will tell you all about our liberties. There are 12 in here. And then you must break it down for combinations in which liberties sort of curve off until when you get to the end, this liberty you don't have anymore. And then if you go to the public and take a poll, they're going to tell you the same thing about these liberties. And why is that? Because the one at the bottom, it says no killing anybody. So you understand, you don't have the liberty to kill anybody. That's a liberty you will never have. Okay, you'll never have that liberty while running in the libertarian rule, unless for some reason something came about that changes that. It is no longer falling under the libertarian law, because to protect thyself is still under the libertarian law. When somebody comes in from somewhere else, it's always the Second Amendment. So no matter how it gets crushed, that it's not good, because of the yin and the yang and the understanding, and also the shadow that lies. You see, in the yin and the yang, when you look at the eyes that are on each side, they're two different colors of the same color of the other side, meaning one side is the background for the other side. So when you flip over the yin and the yang, because the color of the eye, let's say, is white, when you turn over and take the yin apart, it also looks like a teardrop. When you take it apart and look at the other side, it'll all be white, unless it was blue and purple. Then one side will be blue, the other side will be purple. And that's why we come into this world. You get hit in the eye because the yin and the yang is an eye. It's an all-seeing eye. It's a vision that it's a vision that you gain within knowledge, because you can see deeper within what you must, your next move must be. And yes, I mean must. In this life, it's a must. It's not I think so. You're not really pressured. It's based on the laws of logic, and you must do certain things. A baby runs into the middle of the road. You must stop. So certain things are a must. And other things like if, and, or but. Yes, you can use the but. But can you use a different word? Because for some reason that word but is no longer really liked anymore. So every time you say but, everybody thinks you're coming in for an excuse. No, you're coming in for a different part of an explanation based on your have and what you have to do. That if you do use a but, you have to be ready to listen to the comeback of somebody else, and the other person must know what it is to communicate contact. Okay, is to find the right numbers, meaning the other person's numbers is not to scream at the other person. So whatever the numbers for scream are, okay, you must not use, because now you have to both between you discuss what it's all about. And do you discuss it to the end or not to the end? Do you discuss about discussing how far you want to go with it, or you go until the end, until it's resolved? And at the resolution, one is satisfied, one is dissatisfied, one is a little satisfied, the other's a lot satisfied, he's satisfied, they're satisfied. What the percentage and who gains all the time is the freedom, what we are looking for in the next world. The freedom in the next world is all about, we have to stop gaining on people and start thinking I gain too much on them. When the guy in the corner store is the only corner store, and last year he made $30,000 and he spent it on a boat and everything else. And then all of a sudden he needed to put up his prices because he wanted to do more things. That's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Just to make more money because he spent too much last year. So other people put up stores and then goes down, and then the right price is out there on the market. And yeah, we should, town by town, we can say there's no more than 8 stores, but no guy can own all 8 stores. And that's what's happening with, in my area, they call it Kushtar. In other places, it's 7-Eleven. In other places, they call it International Grocers, and so on and so forth. And these big chains and big money is all split up between so few people, and it separates. There's a space after that, and a lot of this money is pulled out of these companies. And because most of these companies look at it cash cows, as they know that next year, regardless, we're pulling out 100 million in benefits for us, and even if we only make 90 million, we'll show a $10 million loss, but that's okay because the average is in the last 20 years, we've always been making money, so we can take it out because that's what it is. But 1 year, what happens, they don't make money and they don't want to put in their personal money. I mean, they help the banks out. Listen to this story. They help the banks out. In one of the articles I looked at, I don't remember exactly what the amount was, but the actual amount they let them out with in one category was they would give the bank $1.2 million, but they didn't give the bank anything at all. But they told them, not billion, excuse me, but they tell the bank, you have $2 trillion I'm giving you in liberty, go loan it out. $2 trillion. They give them the money so they can loan out the money so that the feds can make that 2% automatically on it. And the feds never gave out the money because the house was built and everything had to be paid for. So everything really just shows up on paper and everything goes back in the bank. I mean, should everything just go in the bank that way? Something's wrong somewhere because it's working too perfect for a system. Whoever's inside the system that controls the system, it'll always work out for them. But it will never work out for us. So things like this have to be changed. So the other particle that I was going to is the teardrop again, because one of the things about the teardrop is it's how from God or King or MK 1313 is 1313. 13 times 13 is 130 plus 39 is 149, which means the one spirit of the 8 heaven. Why does it mean that? Because 8 in a letter count equals to 49, and the one spirit is separate from the 3. Now we can put these all together and say 141991, and I can explain all those situations too, because the numbers are there, the combinations are there, the trifecta is there, and so far there's going to be a payout for that. Okay, that's what it is. But this teardrop over here, right? Or you know when they see that and they're bending the bar and the big muscle, they bend that bar for us to see, to us to start to learn, to go back in history, what is it about the bar, because it's not only there. And the bar is mentioned all over the place, and the biggest thing in some of the machines is sevens and bars. Anyways, what you do, where is it? Right here. Take that K, put that bar over it, you now have an R. You see, this is 2 open V's. You see, if I take the K, the V is sitting on a line. Okay, that's the line that connects 4 and 6 energy, 1 and 3. It's man's mind. Okay, when you put this on top of each other, this turns into a diamond, and you got man's mind again. If you put this back to back, it shows the X, in which what your eyes see is what you see. And I'm going to show you something a little bit different. This is angel resident. This is man walking. He's got a little bubble. Right? You remember when the financial bubble bursts? You're dead. Well, when his bubble bursts, he's dead. It's all of us, of course. The other thing I wanted to show you is I'm going to try and, well, I mean, anybody can draw number 6, right? Right? Anybody can draw number 6, right? Maybe I can change it into an R. Maybe I can use it as 2 teardrops. 2 teardrops, right? Where are you? Look, sort of see the man's eyes, right? With the K in the center. Now, the question comes to be, I made his little nose. See 2 jacks, a jack on this side, a jack on this side. Now when the beta energy comes in, When the beta energy comes in, okay, down the center, two sides of the nose, and the mustache right over here, and underneath the mustache, you see this over here? Okay, that's the little space you see right here between my lips, because the energy comes in there. Okay, and another thing, if I can recall, besides it being the mind, but take a good look at this. If you take a good look at this, I'm going to show it to you a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to change it. If you take a look at it now, it becomes the fleur-de-lis. If anybody knows what a fleur-de-lis is, it's called the P of life, the pie of life. That's what it is. I can't tell you why. That's what it is. Where did I get that? Because when I'm so sure of it, it came within my revelations. It's almost like somebody told me it's true. This is true. Here it is. How would you like someone to come to you and give you truth of something, knowledge you never knew and nobody else knows? We all have our hypothesis, but we can never be damn sure that this is the truth. You see, I'm damn sure about many things that are the truth because they work out. Now, an increase, okay, in definition, because number 10 means a lot of things. 10 out of 10 is perfect. 6 out of 10 is only 60%, so the 10 is just saying, hey, you're still 40% away from me. But in order to gather the 40%, you got to do almost, I don't even know. In order to get from 60 to 100, you got to do like 68% or something, or 67%. That would be really funny. That would be really funny. I'm going to get out the calculator and check this out. I want to see what this is. I want to see what this is. 100 divided by 60 equals, okay, 166. Let's try this. 60 times 0.66 equals 39. Can you believe that? I took 6.66. I'm going to try this again. 6.66 times 60 equals, oh my God, 399.6. I never did that before. Let me write this down. Oh my God. 60 out of 100 is 399.6, which brings it to 99.6 is the answer. 4 sixes. You know why four sixes are wrong? Because when this 6 turns the other way up, all it's telling you is the total equation about being alive as angel, about being dead as man. So when you get the 4 6, it's a total of the equation. If you get 5 sixes, now you take the middle 6 and you put it in the center, and you work the middle 6 with the 2 on the left, and then you work the middle 6 with the 2 on the right, just like they taught you in Roman numerals and everything else. The other thing I was going to show you is this. January has 7 letters in it. February has 8 letters in it. So you can say July and August. Okay, August 7th, July 8th. Because you got to always find things that match together, because once I match these dates together, I now have a date and time. It happened this year on a Saturday. If I was working on something very precise, I can go a lot deeper by being able to compare each part of the letters. So what I'm going to be doing now is taking, like I showed you here, and I'm going to do different scenarios. One is the number count for the number of letters. Okay, and the total number of letters in the 12 months is 74. The number of Jesus. Again, number of Jesus, 74. Do you know what the letter count is for the initials? I'm going over that now. I already know what the answer is, but I can't tell you. I have to do another video. So why am I out here? Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I love it. If I had to have a job for the future, this would be it. I'd go out a little bit more, but this would be it. I'd still spend 8-10 hours here, because what joy would I have looking at the ceiling? Where's the joy of looking at the ceiling? I'll look at the ceiling and let my mind go, but where's the joy looking at the ceiling? It's like a conflict of interest. from wanting the mind to do something. So I sit on here and I look at Facebook a little bit, and I try to look what people say on it, and I look at other things, and I just want to make sure I'm up to date in what's happening. And obviously the world is big and I cannot know everything, and that's why it's good to have somebody else to work with. So you can split up the knowledge of knowing, because going over the knowledge is a lot easier than seeking out the knowledge on the exterior of my own mind. Yeah, so we did Ohio. Kansas City, like I said before, Kansas City is the center of Rubik's Cube. Highway 35 and 70. So what would go through there? I'm not sure if anything can actually come out of the ground there, but that definitely would be where Dorothy turned around. I mean, the Tin Man wasn't there for nothing. He must have had some sort of brain to know he was missing a brain. When the guy had no courage, he had to have the courage to say to somebody to tell them, I got no courage. You know, the one with no heart had to have a lot of heart, because he took part and he took care of others beside him, beside himself, and thought of others in front of him. So whatever they asked for, they actually had. It's just they never knew it. They were always alone. Sometimes it's not good to be alone all the time. And even if you are alone all the time nowadays, you go online and you find a guy like me saying the same tune, and then you feel not alone again. Because this is my 900th and I think third or fourth video. And oh, I watch some of them. I like them. I really, really do. I do like them. I do make my blundering mistakes. I can really, really write up a storm if I really needed to write up a storm, but it expands. I would be writing and writing, because I can sort of see that if you really take into effect what's going on in this planetary system, to let you note that Mercury, okay, is the center between what is above and what is below its next value, which is Venus and Neptune. Sorry, I'm not looking into the camera, I'm thinking. So in between Venus and Neptune, we have Mercury. Now, if I took a dice cube out, in which it's on angles of Earth and Uranus, or on angles between Mercury and Pluto, you would lay between, you would have Jupiter. So now we reside in seeing based on 2 and 8, okay? Mercury would be in the center, when I keep mentioning to mostly everybody that it must be Jupiter, because the center of any dice or card is always inside the 5 position, okay? Unless I must restate myself and look at a card, right, and try to see something a little bit different, in which I'm going to try and show you is that when I always say over here is the 5 position, right, and this over here is also the 5 position, and this over here is also the 5 positions, in their own world, they are all the 5 positions. You see, there's 3 worlds here. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 3. And all you have is 3, nothing in the center before, 5, 6, 7 by 1, 2, 3 rows. And that's why the number 37 exists. But in order to make it complete, you would have to have 2. So it'd be like this, almost like the shapes of the roulette, okay? So if you have 3 of 7 twice, double that up, 37 and 37, okay, is 74. Now you have the number of Jesus, okay? Because the number of Christ is 77. Christ counts for both cards, 7 and 7. Just like the opposite side of a dice. You know why? Isn't this how you build cards? 1 here, 1 there, both holding up what's on the roof? Well, it's the same thing. And don't forget, you can't put the card like over here or over here. So when you're building your tic-tac-toe, it's over here or over here. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why you can't have 9 and 9, because if the 2 are on the right on the inside, the 2 on the opposite side have to be on the outside. That's the way it is. Just like following these squares. The minute you go out of this square, it means a passage between the two pipes, just like they use in hockey. Everything in all sports terminology, the way these sports announcers talk, and the scoring is all included on the number calendar and dictionary, or whatever you want to call it, based on the 36 steps of creation. Where am I now? There's many, many, many things. One of the things I want to talk about is the 3 zeros. 3 zeros and then a mark, and then you're into the thousands. One of them is for the spirit. One of them is for the angle. One of them is for the man. And one of the reasons for that is because it's always turning. So everyone's going to always be in the other one's position and in between, totaling to 16. That's how you get to use the 2 dice, the 4 corners of the top and the bottom of each dice, creating that perfect 16. Sweet 16, one of the reasons for the 16, and the Sweet 16, I'm not on it today, I'm going to try to figure it out, is that this is one of the reasons, okay, this 5 connects to this. If you got to go 16, this is your 10. You go 5 and 5 is 10. They were both used, put it on the side. Now you use this. What do? You hold up 5 like this, and then you go like this. Yeah, look, 16. How many people would go like this, 16? Usually it's like this, 16. 2 thumbs up, 2 spirits. One of the reasons for 16 is because you're on the other hand and using the other spirit. Even when you count 7, you're using this, and this is when you count 7. So you have 5 of 5 and 2. 2 and 5, just like on the dice. 2 and 5 is 7, because that's the only way you can make it. What your body can do, what your mind can do, what you can do on square paper, for what you see in colors or otherwise, there's always going to be a formation of creation that created that idea. So just take that idea and call it part of the system of it. Because it and is, okay, it and is, it's true that it is 'twas. It was and it is 3. Toi in French means 3, and it was and it still is, but we exist only as 4, because we must take the 4 corners of everything, the 4 corners of your life, your 2 hands out, your 2 legs out. It is. And the 3 card is this right in the center, your heart, your mind, and I guess your bottom part, dick, or whatever you want to call it. So now we're going to work on initials for January and May. I'm going to be working on the reason that a friend of mine said September and October should be like 7 and 8 because of what's in their letter vision, what's in his letter vision. And this is a guy that never talks about this, but anyways, he mentioned it to me, and I wouldn't get into the conversation because I've been cut off too many times. I hope I didn't make this too dreadful for you here this afternoon. I am Raphael 7286. If you didn't see this in the last video, I'll do it again. I'll do it easily. These are the 50 stars of the states. This is 9/11. First 9/11 we're going to do is like this. 9 plus 11 is 20. 9 times 11 is 99. 20 plus 99 is 9/11. The stars, flag United States, 2, 4, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, did I get that right? I hope I got it right, because I got the number of stars. So 5 and 4 is the angel, okay, in the passage. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in which actually there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is actually angel and man. Why? Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, or it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would make 10. Freedom of 55. Now, I've never counted them on the angle, but regardless of that, 9/11 is right here. X space 2, 3 space 4, 3 space 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 space 9, 10 space 11. Spaces and stars equal 11. 1 space 2, space 3, 4, 5 space 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, 11. Now, go look at the stars and the stripes. Okay, the only thing I really don't like about that is you see when stripes are straight, okay, and they run along with the white. The thing about the word to run along with is that if it was just like you throwing your stuff in the laundry and the colors would seem to run, they'll show a pinky bloody stain in the white of the flag, showing that the purity that lies within has no more justice than the white stars that will also turn to blood. Since why? Because between the red is the white, and the white sometimes is known as a void. So if there's a void between the red and the red is bloody, it's something that's concrete and it's not nice. So what would happen, it would make like actually when they call for the 4-gun salute, well, it's almost like shooting down the stars. Those lines are shooting down the stars. You know when you crank your gun or you put your gun together, the rifle, and you take the firing part off, but you still have the other one? Or when you put that on, just add it to the flag, to each place where there's a white, and you'd be shooting down all those 50 stars. And obviously some of the stars would be missing, and those might be the states that you should watch out for. You understand what I'm saying? Those 50 stars, there's an angle in there. I mean, they probably don't even know this. Take the complete American map and take those stars and put them on, and then take the lines and see which lines, the red lines or the white lines, that touch which stars, that would be the location of that state. And then create whatever you want, the Big Dipper and stuff like that. And while you're creating the Big Dipper, you're starting to get a vision of, oh my God, I can't believe this hits here. And things start to fall down, and oh my God, it's a big coincidence. So we'll leave things at that for now, the way it is. It couldn't be any better. And I'm going to go back to working on some of my stuff. I am Raphael. I am still, and still I am, and I steal nothing at all. And am is who I am. I am who? Well, that's what the owl said. Who and who? Who? He always said who. Was it angel or man? Right? He was sending out a message both ways. That's why the owl can turn his head all the way around, because he's got to talk to both sides. He's got to talk to man. He's got to talk to angel. He's got to look up to mother. He's got to look down in the heavens. We're not alone here. The reason I use the owl is because that's the animal in our world for the system of the description of the matrix that I think they created, and I think the owl represents that. I want to thank those who write to me. Whatever you can ask me. I did find out a few more things. There's so many numbers that connect. This is a great big month for me. My grandmother, for me, what's happening, my grandmother's going to be 98 this year. And this September 4th, I will be exactly half her age. I have been talking about this to myself for the past 7 years. My grandmother cannot die until she's at least half my age. And the reason for that is because I believe when you get very close to 100, you'll be able to turn around your mind and see the reflection of the last 49 years of the first 49 years that you were here, because all the opposites should come into life, from not being able to walk to being able to walk to not being able to walk, to being able to hear but not hear and understand, to be able to hear now but actually you're not all here to even see. So we now sort of circumference the other part. We start to feel, and it's automatic. It's automatic. Even if you're not like this, it's automatically in you. It's part of the system. It's the matrix. That's the way it goes. Some people start to get mad. I'm having my period. I'm having my, what's it called? It all has to do with the changes. And because the woman is so strong in communication all her life, so superior over everything, she's changing into something else now over the, I guess, near 50, 5 years old. And that's why they call it the freedom of 55, because it's when the two passages come together and you are on the final cycle of 5. The final cycle of 5 and the reverse cycle of 5 is 32 and 23. From within inside 23 is your life. But on 32, it's your expression in the passage to your next life, in which each one is a separation of 9. So the separation of 9 and the last number of 32, which is a reflection of 23, but backwards, because instead of saying beta creation, it's the creation within beta. Who is coming? The creation within beta. What is this? This is beta creation. So what happens after that is you go another cycle of 9, because you always leave out the 1, because the 1 is your life. The 1 is the situation we talk about. It's the core. It's the matter of the ordeal. So we don't talk about it, just like we really don't talk about the white ball very much. So what happens if you add 9 more to 32? Where are you actually taking yourself? You are taking yourself to the final passage where everything began, right here in the neck. Okay? 9 more from 32 is 41. 41 is the Mediterranean. It always seems to be here. Not only that, Israel is this bone over here. You know the bone you go to pull to wish? Well, that's where Israel is. The throat is actually Syria, and the hat is actually Turkey. And somehow Turkey won a big prize in the last world. This is what I keep on saying about everything, and the Arabs also won a prize in the last world, because the word rabbit, okay, if you take away the T, it also says rabbi, and it can also be turned around to say Arab. So maybe that's why they're wearing their hats, because in terminology and expression, they say my hat is off to you. Okay, so now the hat is on for you. My hat is off to you. My hat is on for you, for the honor of the God, the way they perceive the good God of the good Lord of the Creator. Where else and above can I actually tell you? I'm not sure. You see, this heart card is us, right? And if we're supposed to be 2, 4, 6, 8, then this shape here is exactly what it is. There's more to this shape than you actually see, because if you take the 2 points, if you take the points and bring them only into one corner over here, it would create a pentagram, and it would end up creating 4 more corners, creating a total of 8. And within, you see the corners? Do you see why they're blue? Do you know why they're blue? Because they create the X. They create that German sign. Okay, and that sign is all about the connection, what's behind the scenes, the cross connection between 1 and 9 and 3 and 7, connecting together. Ron Paul. No Ron Paul. Ron Paul going once. Okay, sold. Ron Paul, 1 penny. Hold it. Ron Paul, how much? 1 penny? 4 pennies? 3 pennies? 4 pennies? Ron Paul, 4 pennies. You can't get much higher than that, because 4 pennies, you know what happens after 4 pennies? I'm going to show you what happens after 4 pennies. It's pretty simple. There's 4 pennies. Normally, when you get the 5th penny, they put the cross against it, right? Making 5. Is that what you want? They just put a cross through you. You're back in life. You don't want to be back in life. You want the copper. The copper is the communication. The copper is what part of your body is made out of in order to have that communication. If everybody keeps giving pennies to Ron Paul, everybody should know he is the master of the penny. How else do you want to look at this? If you gave him silver, silver's going up, silver goes down. But Ron Paul is a steady base of communication over the past, I don't know, 25 years. What else would you want? Do you want a little gold that's pliable? No, it's a penny, because liberty is not pliable. You add the gold to it to respect it. You add the silver to the gold to reinforce the gold. Okay? But communication between the first lines and the outlines can always be undermined. Why? Because if we put a penny on the outside and a penny on the inside that's hidden from everything, they still ground as one. It's our ground. Ron Paul, the cent, the man who was sent to reevaluate the cent, so man can have his scent back. The sense back, the sense of smell, the extra scent. Are you missing a penny? If people have made a big deal about giving pennies in so many different reasons, then penny means a whole lot more than anything in this world. There was a penny in my school. Many pennies in my school. Every time I shoved my hand in my pocket for a penny, I thought I was shoving my hand down someone else's pants. There was a guy in my school, his name was Nickel, so none of us wanted to say nickel. You know, you got a nickel on you? Yeah, I'll put my hands in my pants to get it. So imagine your friend's name is Nickel. Somebody says, you got a nickel? Yeah, hold on, I'll stick my hands down my pants. So whose nickel are you grabbing? Is your name Dime? Is your name Dime? Put my hands down my pants and get a dime. Hey, boy, I'd like to get her out of my pocket, right? We have 12 months in the year. If we count the number, value of each month, with June being 6 and December being 12, you add them all together, you have a total of 78. 1, 2, 12 equals 78. 78 is also the 7 letters to the count of January, 8 letters to the count of February, and there's more and more in this. I'm going to have to stop now because I said this was a 3-minute video. Well, I think we did 3 minutes 23 times. So we're going to stop this at 46, and in honor of the Mayans, 4652. I am Raphael, 7286.